speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 who you with, Curtdog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. I'm who you with, Curtdog. Want to welcome everyone to the show tonight. Happy Thursday. No, normally I'm on here with my BFF, Miss Risky, but she taking the night off tonight because she working on some great stuff coming up in the future. Want to welcome everyone on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Periscope, Twitter. D Live is always in the house. Want to welcome you to the show. You can live chat with us in the chat room. Tonight, I don't know if we're going to be able to get through everything, but mainly we're going to talk about Demajai Oliver. We talked about this story back in April. The young man that was found for 35 in Irving. That was allegedly pushed out of a car. The evidence shows he was pushed, but the police department just call it an accident. Well, today, just a couple of hours ago, an arrest been made in connection with that murder. So tonight we're gonna hit on that. Welcome to the show, Monica Mayfield, Maloli, watching on Facebook. You can live chat with us in the chat room. So with Demajai Oliver, when I did the story, he disappeared on March 31st and was found the next day. Had been hit by several vehicles, and they basically said it was an accident. But the family and the community and the police department continue to investigate this. So today, an arrest was made in Memphis. Demario Montague was arrested today, along with Mallory Nelson was arrested in connection with it, because eyewitness allegedly said, and I'm saying allegedly because I'm not on the case. This is what been transpired. So I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the case. But allegedly the witness him didn't push out the car. So because of that, they did make the arrest today, which is good. And talking with certain people about the case, it seemed like it's a pretty strong case. Now, of course, I went back and did some research on Demario Montague. As I'm doing the research, just 2 years ago, in 2019, he was arrested for allegedly pulling a knife, trying to stab his baby mama in the head with a knife. Now, you may say, okay, she could have lied. No, she didn't. According to court records, he tried to stab her in the head for the simple fact he gave her money to have an abortion, but she used that money to pay rent. She had two other kids. At that time, she had two other kids. So are you going to spend the money on an abortion, or are you going to keep a roof over your kid's head? And because she made that choice, Demario Montague decided he'll climb through the window, which he never should have been there. I believe she had a restraining order against him. Climbed through a window, tried to stab her in the head with a knife. So he was arrested for that. Now, before then, I believe it was in 2007 or 8, something like that. He was arrested for on March 27, 2008. He was arrested for a felon with a weapon. So he was actually sentenced to 110 months in prison, but somehow he appealed it and it was overturned. But he was convicted of that crime. So the thing is, in my eyes, Demajai Oliver should be alive today if the justice system would have done the right thing, held this man accountable for those other crimes that he committed. But here it is. Until he take a life, it never should have been gone on that far. He tried to take the baby mother life 2 years ago, and he should have been held accountable. He never should have been on the streets. Never should have been on the street. Now, as for Mallory Nelson, it's a lot about her that is not good either. Because as I did my research and read some of the comments people left, this woman is foul anyway. One thing, keeping her ex from the kids. You must remember we did a couple of shows on malicious parent syndrome. That was a prime example. Malicious parent syndrome. But she thought she was exposing him. She thought she was exposing the father, but at the same time, she was keeping this man from seeing his kids. So that tell you what type of person she is. Weedy Jane Wright, welcome to the show, said we can't get Margie back, but we can get closure. Yes. I'm glad the family can get closure because they knew all along something just wasn't right. They knew that this did not sound right. And because of the family, they kept pushing, staying involved until the police did what they're supposed to do for the mother, Miss Oliver. I appreciate you. And hopefully, with what you have done, would encourage someone else not to just take what the police telling you that happened and continue to fight when you know your loved one. I appreciate you. Appreciate your family for staying on top of it. I appreciate the fact that this thug is in jail and hopefully he stays there. Yeah, this is the first part of it, but it's going to be a long battle because now it's the trials that have to come with it. The family is going to have to relive a lot of this. Going to have to relive all of it of going through a trial. Hopefully, Demario go ahead and plead guilty and accept his punishment. Hopefully, give this family closure. I know some of his family and friends may be listening to the show tonight, and that's fine. That's fine. But what we need to do, like I say all the time, we need to take our neighborhood back. We need to take our neighborhood back from people like Demario. You know he was involved. Tell the investigators what you know if you haven't already told them. Speak up. So hopefully this family will get closure. They always going to struggle with this. That young man had a bright future, had a good head on his shoulder. He wasn't looking for any trouble. He was doing everything right. From my understanding, he had his own business at 17. Not only that, when I first talked about the story back in April, I said, this young man could really sing. So he had a bright future. But all because of whatever reason, they felt it was necessary to take his life. And I'm going to say to the police department, Dallas and Irvin, I believe they both was investigating it. Thank you for not giving up on this family. Thank you for investigating this case and not just making it a cold case or just claiming it was an accident, regardless of what the witness have said. So I'm glad somebody within those departments decided to do their job, wanted to do their job, and made a difference in the outcome. But this is just the beginning of the battle, though, because now we have to see that justice is done. I've seen the hashtag justice for Margie. Oliver. We need the justice for him. So that's a wonderful update. It's a touching update for the simple fact I didn't know the young man personally, but doing my research, I've seen a lot of great things about him. And a thug took that away from him and from his family. A parent should not have to bury their child. In this case, we see it happen all so often, all because of jealousy. For the simple fact, I I have no other reason why this guy actually decided to take his life, but I'm sure it will come out soon. It will definitely come out. But if you know anything about this case, please reach out to the investigators. Um, Even if you don't think it mean anything, reach out to them. And for Demario to try to stab his pregnant girlfriend in the head with a screwdriver, that's crazy. That's really crazy. Um, all because she chose to pay rent instead of having an abortion. And this happened on January 8th, 2019. This dude never should have been on the street after that. Story read: a Memphis man was arrested on felony charges after an argument over an abortion turned physical over the weekend. According to the police, the female victim was laying in bed Sunday with her daughter, aged 3 and 1, when Demario Montague climbed through the bedroom window. She said he had moved out the day prior and wasn't supposed to be there. Montague was upset with the victim because she used money he had given her for an abortion to pay for rent. She said that's when the argument turned physical. The victim said as she was trying to call the police, Montague threw her up against the stove. Both fell to the floor with Montague on top of the woman when he pinned her down and putting his knee on her chest and reaching for a screwdriver, she said. When he attempted to stab her, the woman said she kicked him between the legs, causing his arm to be off just enough that it missed her head. Instead, he repeatedly stabbed the toy that was next to the woman's head. But the incident didn't end there. Police said as the woman called 911, until he grabbed the 1-year-old child and took off down the street. He refused to come out of the home, and officer was forced to make their way inside. Montague was arrested and charged with aggravated assault, aggravated burglary, and custodial interference. Neither the woman nor the child was injured. Mm, that's crazy. Um, that's crazy. You welcome, Woody Jean Wright. It's That's why I say this platform is a platform for everyone. Some of these stories that I do cover is not easy. And here's one that is definitely not easy. This young man was doing everything right, had a good future coming toward him. But it take a thug to take that away from him, take it away from his family, which is crazy. Welcome to the show, Marcellus Smith. Miss Risky is not here tonight. I'm rolling solo, so you don't have to leave because you don't see her. Um, but thank you for always tuning in. We're doing an update on Demajai Oliver. We did a story on him back around April the 4th, somewhere around that time. The young man um, that was killed off of 35 in Irving. Um, and he was pushed out of a car, and the police tried to say it was an accident. Said he tried to cross the highway. But thanks to some people, the family, that didn't take that as an excuse, and they stayed on top of it, and an arrest was made today. So Um, I'm glad the family stayed on top of it because so many families take what the police say and don't keep it fresh on their mind and keep them from making it a cold case or just accepting what they said. But the family knew better. The family knew better. They knew something wasn't right. They felt that something wasn't right with what was being said and how it happened because he was several miles away from the house. But they kept pushing. They kept pushing, praying until something happened. And now it happened. And now the process started. Now we need justice. We need justice now. For Demajai Oliver, we need justice. Yeah, an arrest is great, but we need justice. And for Mallory Nelson, your hand is just as dirty as Demario Montague because you was allegedly there. So you too need to tell everything you know. You need to talk. Anybody that have information about this case need to contact the investigators. Um, I don't have the investigative information right in front of me, but if you can text it to me, and I can put it out there, where if you know anything, because some people they don't want to talk until they know an arrest been made. This is the time to say something. You should have said something back in April, but we can't do anything about that. But now, if you know something, say something. Let it be known that, hey, this is what I heard. Even if it's something that you're not sure it's gonna help the case to get a conviction. You never know until you talk with the investigators. So definitely speak up. Tell whatever you know. This guy never should have been in jail. He never should have been on the street. He definitely should have been in jail. But I'm glad he was arrested. And also, Memphis is also one of those states that want to legalize, well, not want to, come July the 1st. Tennessee is one of those states. I said Memphis. I don't want folks be texting me. Tennessee is not a state. Memphis is not a state. I'm talking about Tennessee. The state of Tennessee is one of those states that is going to legalize come July the 1st, where anybody can carry a gun long as you pass the background. Now, unfortunately, no matter where you are, you have people that do illegal stuff, buy guns for people that shouldn't have it. And that's not right. So, um, with Demario Montague, he never should have had a weapon with the charges he had in the past. So, yeah, I'm glad justice will be served. Hopefully, they find him guilty. Hopefully, just go ahead and confess to it. Bring this family closure. Bring this family closure. Um, and like I said before, Mallory Nelson, your hands are dirty too because you was with him. You was with him, and you could have said something. And because you didn't say anything, you just as guilty as him. So, um, but I appreciate the family, everyone that been out, that been on top of this, that been keeping this case fresh, reaching out to the police, doing whatever you can to make sure justice is served and arrest is made. So hopefully, he go ahead and admit he was wrong. Um, ooh, that's big, but it's good. Thank you, baby. My wife fits me a little something. But so you can also call in if you want to talk about this case or any other case that we're gonna talk about tonight. And you can call in 972-591-3665, 972-591-3665. And you can talk about that or whatever is on your mind tonight. I know we're going to hit on a couple of more cases, and we're going to talk about some other stuff that I wasn't aware of. So I'm sorry. When you see somebody pass by, you got to make sure everything is on the up and up. So see somebody passing by real flow. But also, I don't know if y'all heard about the story, but here in Dallas, a young lady, Brianni Bonner, a single mother in Dallas. Mm, yeah, that's kind of jacked up. I seen this story earlier today. Somehow, someway, her apartment complex decided to evict her. Now she been paying her rent on time. Single mother, just moved here, I believe, from Chicago. Riviera Apartments on Adelia Road, and she get home from work. And kind of find out, she can't get in her place. And the maintenance man tell her, you're going to be arrested for going in there. And she like, what? They evicted by a mistake. They evicted her. Instead of her apartment, they supposed to have been evicting the apartment downstairs. That's a hell of a mistake they made. Oh, it get worse. The maintenance man pulls up and tell her she was going to jail because it's against the law for her to be in her apartment. Said the 23-year-old is a single working mother to a 4-year-old son. She said management made a mistake. And she told WFA, hey, she lives at apartment 1721. And she said management told her they meant to evict 1712. So finally, the apartment complex, on Thursday, released a statement about the eviction, apologized for evicting Bonner, and saying they are trying to fairly compensate her. Hold on now. And I know some of them might be saying, oh, that's good. Just wait a minute. Since learning about the incident involved Brianni Bonner and her young son, our senior management team has been trying to reach out to Ms. Bonner to apologize and address the problem caused when our staff mistakenly emptied the content of the wrong apartment. We want to offer a sincere apology for the way the situation was addressed once the error was discovered, and are attempting to contact Ms. Bonner to discuss how we can fairly compensate her and her son. In addition, we're reviewing our procedure to see if additional safeguard or training are necessary to help make sure this type of incident is not repeated. Bonner said management told her they made a big mistake. She told me it was a big mistake. It was an accident. They meant to evict the apartment underneath me, but they evicted me by accident. Bonner said, adding that she found her belongings in the trash, including her medication for PTSD and anxiety. I can't even explain to you the depression it caused. Oh, but just a minute. Bonner said most of her things were taken, with the rest dumped in the dumpster, including her son Teddy Bear. She called Dallas police to file a report. I feel like everything was taken from me, she explained. It doesn't feel like home anymore. On Wednesday, WFA went to the apartment complex to try to speak with the management. We called 2 times and emailed them twice as well. WFA finally made contact with the property manager at the leasing office, but they did not want to make a comment. But Bonner said management tried to compensate her. Now they said they was doing it fairly early. She told WFAA all they will be able to do for me is to give me a $200 Visa debit card. You wiped out all this woman belonging, and you just want to give her a $200 debit card? A $200 debit card. after you done threw all her belongings away, what are you thinking about? Whoever made that mistake don't need a job. Whoever was behind putting the wrong apartment number do not need a job. Now, can you just imagine you coming home from work? Um, Welcome to the show, Trixie Gatson. Said, "Oh hell no." Can you imagine coming home from work after working all day? You're tired. You get to your apartment, try to get in, and the doors is locked. And then the maintenance man threatened to have you arrested for trying to get into something that you paid for. How the hell that's gonna happen? Uh, Trixie Gatson said, she need a lawyer quick. Trixie, I wish you would go over to my page, the podcast page. Speak on it with who you with, Curtdog. Same name you on my personal page. Just put speak on it in front of it. Um, with who you with, Curtdog, and then I can put your comments up on the monitor. But can you imagine you coming home, get tired, just want to take a shower, crawl into the bed. You can't even get in. Now you unpaid rent. You can't get in. And you know when they do eviction, they don't leave anything in there. What the hell? I don't know why, but I'm getting a lot of static. Um, yeah, so when they do eviction, they take everything out. Matter of fact, as the story went on, they already painted the apartment. They already painted the apartment. And I'm like, really? They painted the apartment. So they was ready to lease it out. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't already have it leased out. That's some BS if I never heard of it. Now she did someone did start up a let me make sure it's her. Yeah, she did start up a GoFundMe page, and a lot of people have reached out to her and donated to her. So if she met her goals so far, but can you imagine having to repurchase everything that she had that people didn't steal? Because I know growing up, when we seen somebody been evicted, you see cars passing by and they stopping and packing stuff up, and they didn't own none of it. If you wasn't there when they did it, it kind of like coming to America when they stole their suitcase. You see people walking around in your clothes, and that's what happened with her. Like she said, most thing was already taken. Everything else was thrown in the trash. Marcella said, "Oh, mofos offered her 200. I would own the complex. You and me both. You and me both. It would take everything I had to bite my tongue and not acting a fool. Because can you imagine with a 4-year-old child? You coming home and can't get in your apartment? You done worked all day. You tired. You just want to go home. If you didn't stop and get you something to eat on the way home or eat before you got there, you just have your food, want to go in, take a shower, get ready for bed. You tired. But you got to go home and try to figure out why you're not able to get in. Then when you get in, they've already painted the apartment. It's completely empty. How that gonna work? Now you got have a lot more stress. And the young lady already struggled from PTSD. They even threw away her medication. So I could just imagine where her anxiety was that night. And then you want to offer her $200. What is $200 gonna do? $200. I hope she find the right lawyer. Uh, exactly, because she find the right one. That apartment complex ain't gonna change. Because that's a mistake that should never happen. We did Gene right said. Cha-ching. Exactly. Um, she oughta just every time she look at him be like, bingo. Okay, she hit the jackpot. That's messed up. Now you moved from Chicago to Dallas to have a better life. And this is what you're having to deal with. But God work in mysterious ways. I'ma just say, Brianna, take this blessing. Keep your head up. Everything that's coming your way, you deserve it. You deserve it. Yeah, it's a mistake. But God will use fools too. So take everything you're supposed to get, regardless of what they saying, $200. Yeah. And if I know it's gonna take a lot, but to replace everything, I'm gonna see if I can um get the link. Normally I do not um share links, but for this young lady, I'm gonna do it. And hopefully if you find it in your heart to help her out, because it's gonna be a battle. It's not gonna happen overnight. Uh, if you're on the page, the link should have showed up, and you can just click on that link, um, and then just if you feel led to be a blessing to this young lady, definitely do it. Because she have a 4-year-old son, single parent, and it's probably going to cost a lot more than that to be able to get all the things back that she had, clothes and everything, the toys the baby had, um, the whatever it may be, she's gonna need the help. So definitely, uh, if you're able to, click on the link and be a blessing. It don't make a difference what you give. Get from a heart. Get from your heart. So, but yeah, and Brianni, if you're listening, uh, let us know the outcome because this is that's a mistake that should never happen. And I'm gonna tell you another thing because I've said before on the show, I've actually sat um, on jury duties in the past that dealt with eviction. And some of these management companies are not the smartest. I remember one case I sat on. This young lady struggled paying her rent. But then she turned around. The apartment complex decided, oh, we're going to renew your lease. Going to renew your lease. Even after she struggled paying that first year lease, she struggled with that. Then they turned around and renewed her lease. Then they decided to file eviction because they was tired of her not being able to pay on time. Now, they had like 3 attorneys to come to court to represent them on an eviction. Of course, all the other juries did not look like me. And they was like, no, she's this, she that. And I said, hold on now. You need to hold that apartment complex accountable. Okay, we all know she didn't pay her rent. She didn't pay it on time and she wasn't paying. She behind now. But you have to look at the facts. That apartment complex agreed to renew that lease, even though they knew the way she was paying. I personally felt like she didn't need to pay no attorney fees because that manager of the complex should have been bright enough to file eviction. If not, they need to put someone else in that position. They don't need 3 attorneys coming to court to represent them for an eviction. If you have the proof that they haven't paid, that's good enough. And if your manager is not capable of doing that, you might need to look at a different manager, someone that have the knowledge of what to do. Now, in this case, I don't know. I don't know if they just went to the wrong apartment. Maybe somebody did I'm not gonna say that one. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Allegedly did a Ken Patson helping a homeboy out or a homegirl out and made them said we're gonna help them out, evict the wrong person, then they gotta start it all over again. But it's gonna cost you. Open that checkbook up. Open it up. It's gonna cost you. Yeah, Marcella said it takes mess or hardship for you to appreciate your blessing. Yeah, sometimes you gotta go and you gotta go through the storm. Brianna, keep your head up. That's a great storm to be in. And hopefully you find the right attorney that when it's all over and done, I'm going to just claim it. Hopefully, once it's over, you can buy your house courtesy of them, paid for.
paid for, because that's a huge mistake. I could just imagine if you had some family history that you had that was destroyed. You can't put a price on stuff like that. That you can't do. You went out on faith to move to Texas from Chicago. We all know how the crime is in Chicago, and I could just only imagine you did that to give your son a better chance at life. But now that you came here, you're having to deal with that. You're dealing with that. And you're here by yourself dealing with it. Well, it'll be okay soon. Hopefully, from what I've read about you, you was doing everything right. You work, taking care of your son, paying your bills on time. Then you have to come home to this. And the trauma that you're dealing with, having to deal with it, be honest with you, it make my head hurt. When I made my head hurt when I read the story. She said in one point, I'm paying my rent. I'm trying to save up to go to school. It's so stressful. And I have to start all over, she said. Mm. Keep your head up, baby girl. Smile. It's going to be all right. That $200, tell them they need to add several more zeros on the back of it. Marcella said, in your life, it may be dry, and you pray for God to send you rain. Don't complain when the wind comes with the rain. Take the wind with the rain and fertilize your life. Ooh, Marcella, you preaching tonight, ain't you? You have to take it. Blessing come to you in different ways. Um, we the Gene said, use that mess to send a message. Hallelujah. Yeah, that's a blessing. I know it's hard now. I know it's hard. But I can tell you this. When I went to the GoFundMe page, it's a lot of people feel your pain. Do what you have to do. Whatever you're going to school for, do it. You can do it. I'm here to encourage you. I don't know the young lady. I just read the story this morning. Do it. You can do it. You're halfway there. Now, if that complex was going to do what's right, I don't know. Maybe they should pay for the school, free rent, however long it take you to get out of school. And then on top of that, ching ching, go on drop a little something in the collection plate. As y'all made a big mistake. $200. Boy, woo. I remember back in the days, somebody did something like that. I'd be like, please. Yeah, I can fill in the blank on that one. But Brianni Bonner, congratulations. That's all I can say. Congratulations. Yeah, definitely need to keep up on that. They have to do what's right. So let's go on up north. Um, Up to Oklahoma real quick. Because I know some people they we didn't get a chance to do it last night, so we'll do it tonight. But read the story this morning. Now I know some people gonna have some mixed feelings on it. But please, you gotta read between the lines. So a black business owner shot and killed a burglar, served 1 year awaiting trial. He been in jail since last year. And that story just came out this morning. The family and friends of a black man awaiting trial on first-degree murder charge for defending his business from a burglar are saying he's innocent. LaRue Bratcher is the owner of C located in Oklahoma City. And last year, he shot and killed the man who tried to steal from his business, the Atlanta Black Star reported. Someone broke into his place, Bratcher Uncle Derek Neighbor said at a Saturday rally for Bratcher. He didn't go out looking for trouble. He was in his own place of business. His trial is set to begin later this month, according to KWTV. Bratcher was originally arrested for second-degree murder for killing 42-year-old Daniel Hartwick, who is white. The suspect is the burglar. It is alleged that Bratcher initially tried to fire a warning shot, but it accidentally struck Hartwick. This incident would have been Hartwick's second attempted break-in as many days. The other story said he tried to break in the day before. Now, Bratcher was the one who called the police. He was trying to break in when the business owner, who was inside the business at the time, apparently opened fire with a handgun, striking and killing the man who was breaking in. Sergeant Gary Knight with the Oklahoma City Police said, according to KFOR. Police were quick to point out his business license had expired via a call to the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority, which led to his initial arrest of growing marijuana without a license and the confiscation of 480 marijuana plants, which were estimated to cost about 1.5 million. I'm in the wrong business. While Bratcher was out on bond, officer raided his home and pointed their gun at his wife, who was holding their 6-month-old child, according to Vicky Bratcher, LaRue's wife. It was a horrible experience, she said. Late last year, Bratcher charges was upgraded to first-degree murder. It's just me with the kids. And to know that you go from one charge to the next charge and not knowing what's going to happen, Brett, wife said, it's like our life is at a suspense right now. She been managing the store alone since the shooting last year. Said Bratcher is being represented by attorney Clay Curtis, one of Oklahoma's best lawyers, named criminal defense attorney of the year, according to Oklahoma News. So I know some people are going to say, well, um, he shouldn't have shot. But when you have a business like his business, he don't know who's on the other side of that door. You don't know how many people on the other side of that door. Unfortunately, he was trying to shoot a warning shot. I'm not saying that was right, but the person that was trying to break in never should have been there. Um, so with that being said, normally we hear, well, if someone breaking in your house, you wait until they pass that threshold. But he was there by himself. Now think about it. He had $1.5 million worth of merchandise, and it was just him. What if it was multiple people trying to break in? Multiple people trying to break in because they figured there was a lot of merchandise there and probably a lot of cash there. Because I know some states you can't put that money in the bank. All because of the 1937 law that we talked about last night. The fact that they made marijuana illegal in this case, his license expired, but who I don't know. Apparently, they renewed now because his wife is still running the place. So the thing is, how can you not protect your business? I understand. Yeah, normally that's normal. I've always was grown up. If somebody break in the house, you let them come in before you do what you got to do. But in this situation, you know you're the only one there. You got $1.5 million worth of merchandise. No telling how much cash was on them. If they're not allowed to put it in a bank. Because I don't know. Maybe Oklahoma a little bit different. I don't know. But he did what he had to do to protect his business and his life. Hopefully Oklahoma see what's right. Because first he was charged for the running a business without the license. That went up to another charge, and then it went up to the other charge. And that's not right. Now, I know some people are going to have issues, but it's okay. It's okay. But say, for instance, if the tables would turn. Now, I failed to mention that LaRue is also a veteran. He served this country. So just imagine if the tables would turn. Would it be the same charges? Would he ever been arrested? If LaRue was white and the burglar was black, would it have been the same outcome? I personally don't think it would have been. That's my opinion. I don't think it would have been the same outcome. Because first thing they would have said, oh, he's a patriot. He protect his business. He did what he needed to do to protect his business and his family. That's how jacked up the laws are. Now we also got to remember Oklahoma. I believe it was Tulsa, Oklahoma, a couple of years ago. The cop shot a black guy walking away from him with his hands up in the air, and she shot him in the back and killed him. Was she fired? Was she brought up on charges? No. She got a promotion to train other officers. So there you go. Would it have been the same outcome? I don't think it would have been. That's my personal opinion. I feel like he didn't have a chance. Because first of all, he doing everything right. I don't know how long his license been expired. Sometimes you get so busy you lose track of things. His license could have just expired. I don't know. But when you see someone trying to do right, trying to do the right thing, trying to do it the legal way, and because they know how much merchandise he had, $1.5 million worth of merchandise. Unfortunately, some people feel like when black folks trying to do things the right way, they don't want to allow us to do it. Feel like we're not good enough to do it. Now, I'm not saying all people. I'm not saying that's the case with this. But the brother was doing what he needed to do the right way. Last night, when we got off the air last night, a video popped up, and I cannot remember what state it was. I believe it was Kansas or somewhere, or St. Louis, up in that area. Um, his cops have two brothers in handcuffs. And the guy that was videotaping, he kept saying, I tell everybody, if you're going to have that heat, do it the right way. Get it registered. Do it the right way. So they had the brothers in handcuffs. And the guy kept saying the whole time, anybody that I hang with, they legal. After a while on the video, he said, now watch this. They finna have to take their cuffs off of them because I know they legal. They searching the car, pulling guns out, running serial numbers. And one cop pulled up. He said, yeah, that's the one I made the song out of because he slammed my head to the ground. Thought I wasn't legal. So when it was all said and done, exactly what he said they ended up doing. Having to pull the cuffs off of them, put the guns back in the car because they was legal. Nothing they could say or do. Marcellus said, I'm going to switch it up. If you choose to have God to be for you, nobody can hurt or harm you. Marcellus, I hear you preaching. If God is for you, who can be against you? Yeah, people can try to be against you, but it won't work. It just won't work. You're right. It won't work. Um, we have a little time left, not much, but we didn't get a chance to do it last night. Ask Curtdog Anything, get your questions in. If it's something you want to know, ask. I just tell you be careful because I will answer truthfully. So if it's something you want to know about me, ask and I will tell you. But don't wait until I start giving my closing statements and I'll be like, look, too late. So I know next week Miss Risky will be back. Um, she has some stuff she had to do tonight. I know she probably tuning in, trying to trying to see if I'm doing everything right. So I told you between her and my wife, they like, look, um, you gotta do this, gotta do that. I be like, oh Lord. But that's my girl. That's my girl, Miss Risky. Um, Trust me, I can't get away with nothing between her and my wife. Because if I try to, I do something wrong, I'm gonna hear from her, then I'm gonna turn around and hear from my wife. I'll be like, look, I don't know why, but she's a very good friend. She working on some major things. And I think I will be proud of her once she give me permission to be able to share it. So so she's working on that, trying to get everything in order. I will say, um, hopefully LaRue Bratcher, um, Oklahoma City need to do what's right. This brother was trying to do it the right way, but out of fear of his life, knowing that someone was trying to break in. And the story I read earlier said he even called out, said, look, don't come in here. But the guy insists on coming in. So what else he's supposed to do? This point, you don't know how many people it is. So he did what he felt was best. First of all, somebody trying to break in, knowing somebody's up in there, they don't care about life. They don't care about it. Then Brianni Bonner, I'm happy for you, sister. I'm I'm happy for you. I know that's a hard lesson to learn, but brighter days are gonna come. Um, so as for that apartment complex, go on and open the checkbook up. You need $200, ain't gonna get it. To me, that's a flap in the face because you saying what she had was junk. Like she didn't pay $200 for that much furniture in her apartment, her clothes and stuff. You better get real. And for the Oliver family, keep pushing, keep pushing. Um, and once again, if it's anyone that knows anything about that case, please say something. Help bring justice to this family. Any information will help. Even Mallory Nelson, you need to also say something. Um, I didn't say it at the beginning, but like I told y'all, early voting gonna start soon. I believe for the runoff election, you can actually I want to say early voting start on May 24th. May 24th to June 1st. May 24th to June 1st. And you can the election gonna take place June 5th. But you have from the 24th to the 1st to go vote early, and the election would take place on June 5th. Just because you voted in this last election, you still need to vote again. Please, this is a very important race all over Texas or wherever you are. Find out if y'all are having runoff election. Our local election is what influence our laws. If you don't go out and vote, They can make whatever laws they want. That's why they're trying to um, do different things here in Texas. Like one, um, it was blocked from them making it legal, like Memphis and several others, like Tennessee and several other states that have actually tried to uh, that is going to make it easy for anybody can carry a gun. Basically, long as you pass the background check, you can carry a gun. And Texas have tried to pass it. It was stalled, and they're still trying to work out the details on both sides. And hopefully it get thrown out. Now, Greg Abbott already said if the bill come across his desk, he's going to sign it. Of course, you know Greg Abbott is up for re-election. Uh, Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, Ken Patson, Board of Education here in Texas is up for re-election. Those are your local election. We need to get out and vote. Pack the polls just like you do for the presidential election. We need to vote. In the city of Fort Worth, Deborah Peoples is in the process of making history for the city of Fort Worth to become the first Black female to be the mayor of Fort Worth. Well, not only her, but also in the city of Grand Prairie. Um, Kurt Johnson, Junior Ezino, they could be the first two Black city councilmen in the city of Grand Prairie. Now, their opponents have said they don't have time to be a city council, but they won't step down. They won't step down. Now, my thing is, if you don't have time, why you won't step down? Kind of like what Marcella said. If you choose to have God to be for you, nobody can hurt or harm you. Well, Kurt, Junior, Deborah, continue to fight. As long as I have a voice, I'm going to continue to promote you. Now, Junior and Kurt Johnson, they both been on the show. They came on the show together to let people know they not running against each other. They running for two different places in the city of Grand Prairie. I paid attention to that race, and majority of the time, Kurt Johnson was winning. He was winning. But then nobody got over 50% of the votes. That's why they having a runoff. Just like Junior. Nobody got over 50% of the vote. So when a runoff happened, they take the two highest percentage and they do a runoff. That's why we're going into this runoff. Just like Deborah People, same thing in Fort Worth. Well, people want to know what party are they? Well, you got to realize it's not about parties on local levels. That's why you have to do your homework. You have to do your homework. Research these candidates. Call them up. Ask them questions. Ask them, what are you going to do for my community? What do you stand for? I've asked Kurt and Junior both the same thing on the show. I wanted to know, why should the people vote for you? Now, I reached out to the opponents. Of course, their response was, "You know what I stand for." No, I don't. I don't. I don't know. Tell me. Seemed like they got an attitude because I was asking questions. One thing about it though, if you could come and ask me for my vote, I need to find out why. Why should I vote for you? And if you can't tell me, I'm not voting for you. So, yes, get out and vote May 24th to June 1st. And the last chance to vote will be June 5th. Now, I understand some of you may have a background, have a felon, and you feel like you can't vote, but you paid all your dues. You're no longer on paper, but on your background it's saying you're a felon. That's okay. Go to vote.org, vote.org, and find out whatever state you're located. Find out and see if you could get your voting rights back. Majority of the time, as long as you paid your dues, you're not on papers anymore, they will give it back to you. They will reinstate your voting rights. But they're not gonna come knock on your door or send you a letter telling you now you're eligible to vote again. You gotta find out. You have to do your homework and go out. Let them know you paid all your dues. You're no longer on paper. Can I get my voting rights back? That's how easy it is. So if you are a felon, get your voting rights back if you paid all your dues. Now, if you're someone kind of like Brianni Bonner that just moved to the Metroplex, I don't know how long she been here, but hopefully she took the time out and got registered to vote here in Texas. You may just move here, but you know you're going to be here. Get registered and get out and vote. Make that a priority. Don't be like some of these folks say, I'm not into politics. I don't vote because my vote don't count. It don't even matter. Yes, it do. Welcome to the show, Victoria Lewis, watching on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. First time seeing your name coming out, but thank you for tuning in, supporting the show. Um, yes, your vote do count. I don't care who you are. Let your voice be heard. Then when you get that notice, uh, telling you you've been summoned to jury duty, you also need to show up at jury duty for the simple fact when trials come up, you need to be able to do your civic duty and serve on them. Don't try to get out of it. Don't try to get out of it. You can make a difference. A lot of people been sentenced to prison that was innocent because most likely the people that was on that jury duty didn't look anything like that person. Kind of like last night I said, that 1937 marijuana bill they signed. They signed that bill because when the uh, after the Mexico Revolution War, they started coming to Texas and Louisiana. They used that marijuana sale, made it illegal for they could deport them. Then they also made marijuana illegal because they felt that if it was legal, the white women was gonna want to sleep with with the people of color. That's the term they use, the people of color. You tried it. Now what? It still happened anyway. Imagine how many folks been arrested for a small amount of weed. Was the brother up in Collin County that was murdered in the jail cell for having a small amount of weed? Uh, I believe it's Marvin Scott the third, um, that they've been protesting about. Want charges brought up on them, but people say protest is unnecessary. Well, guess what? If they don't protest, you will forget about it and nothing will be done. So, yes, protest is necessary. That's why I'm glad the Oliver family continue to keep it fresh on those officers' mind to make sure they could get closure and the arrest will be made just like it was done today. But that's just the beginning. Now, here comes the hard work, conviction. Demario Montague need to stand for the crime he committed. Mallory Nelson, same thing. She was a part of it. She knew what went down, but she did nothing to, to try to prevent it and said nothing, even though she knew what happened. And I seen the post you put with your kids. Unfortunately, that might be the best free pictures they have of you. Because you need to be held accountable too. You just as guilty as the Mario because you said nothing. You was okay with it. You have been listening to Speak On It with Who You With Curtdog. I am Who You With Curtdog. We're on Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. You can always catch us live. You can live chat with us during live shows. If it's a subject you would like for us to speak on, definitely reach out to us either by email. You can find me on all social media, and we can and will speak on it. This is a platform for everybody. I don't care what political party you represent or anything like that. It's a platform for everybody. Only thing we ask that you are respectful and bring facts. We don't deal with conspiracy theory. And we also gonna bring facts. Any story that we talk about, you can verify it for yourself. So until Sunday night, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Marcellus, Weedy, Jean Wright, Trixie Gadden, Victoria Lewis, and all the other listeners too. There's so many of them. T Cal. I'm calling the ones that I seen that actually put stuff in the chat. DVA Mechanic. Thank you for tuning in also on Twitch. So Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, if the good Lord say the same, I'll see you then. Peace.